Welcome back to Copper Star Precision, the channel dedicated to getting you more points at your competitive shooting matches. Today we're going over the September 2023 course of fire for NRL22. This is the first stage in the booklet. If you're new here, welcome. Please consider subscribing. We go over all the stages in the course of fire to help you come up with strategies, tips, and techniques to get you more points at matches. Ladder disorder. We have a ladder on the side here. We have 3 targets, 12-round stage. I always put the target sizes down here. And essentially what we have is the following stage description. On the start signal, engage the targets in the following order and manner. Position 1, near, middle, far. Position 2, middle, far, near. Position 3, far, near, middle. Position 4, near, middle, far. The rear part of the ladder may not be used to support the rifle. And there's a little note about how the prop is set up. Basically, what they're considering the back of the ladder is the rear support here. And that's kind of parallel to the firing line. So each time that you shift and you slide to the left, you will be kind of moving a little bit more further back. You just can't put any support on this part that's by the firing line. We had 3 targets, 12 rounds. Although the movement isn't confined to, the movement's confined to a small area, so it's not like we're moving between props, but there is some movement in this stage. I would definitely consider using holdovers if possible. So figure out your dope. For me, it's like down 1/10 for the first target, 3/10 for the second target, and about 1 mil for the last target. So I'm looking at dialing for the first target and then maybe holding over 1/2 mil and then holding over 1 mil. Really think about that because it's gonna save you some time. And then obviously the other thing is the target engagement order. So every time you move, your starting target shifts 1 further. So we start at the near target, run near to far, start at the middle target, go far then near, start at the far target, then near the middle. You get the idea. But just keeping that order in mind is really going to trip people up. So 4 positions, 3 shots, and yeah. As far as gear goes, there is a restriction on this stage. You cannot let the bipod touch the ground. I'm not really sure why you would, but I guess for the people who have like the really long bipods, they stick it out front or something like that. So we can't use the bipod, or at least can't touch the ground. So let's just take it off to avoid that altogether. We'll just consider that the floor is lava for bipods. And as far as gear goes, really, this is probably like a 1 or 2 bag solution. So get yourself your favorite bag here. Now, because the flat parts of these aluminum ladders are pretty wide, if you're gonna use a bag like this that has a little place to balance over things, it's not as good because as you can see here, there's like a divot, and it depends on how your bag is filled and all that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, on these flat parts of the ladder, even the ladder rungs, because they're so wide, I always recommend you take whatever bag you have like that has this little notch in it, turn it sideways. So you get a nice flat surface. That's a nice big area there to be able to rest the rifle and get it relatively balanced. So turn your bag sideways. If you have some extra gear, like this is a Gray Ops plate and a flat bag, I think this is a really appropriate solution for this stage. There is a little bit of wobble to this ladder, sorry. And so you have to be cognizant of that. I think if you have a big pump pillow, like a Coltac Mega Bag, which I still need to pick up, it's just, bags, man, hundreds of dollars on bags. So having a nice rear pump pillow for rear support is definitely gonna be the most stable because usually these things are pretty rickety. And in addition to that, a lot of the back supports are usually cut out so people don't shoot them when they're shooting through the ladder. So it's gonna be wobbly. So having the advantage of having a bag that clips onto an Arca rail or something like that, or something like this Area 419 rail changer, is that it moves with the rifle. So that's probably the technique I'm going to take, but you could just as easily use a simple bag. But I'm simply going to do this. So timer goes off. I'm already dialed. I'm going to be using holdovers. Having a large pump pillow, larger than this one, as rear support. Maybe I could do something like that if my very generous squad mates don't let me borrow their gear. So something like this in the first position. We're going to take a low kneel. I understand that kneeling may be difficult for some people, but it is low enough to the ground that kneeling is probably the most appropriate position. You probably wouldn't go prone because it is high enough to be uncomfortable in a prone, but we'll take a low kneel here. And then remember, if you want to get lower to the rifle, the knees are further apart. So knees far apart here, come into the rifle. Having this rear support is so helpful because I'm much more stable here. And then we're gonna go near, middle, holding over 1/2 mil, far, hold over 1 mil. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna conserve movement. So we're just gonna slide everything over. What's important here also, if that is the firing line, when you go to the left here, you don't wanna do something like this and move the rifle here, right? Because you're gonna be flagging whoever is to the left of you, and that would result in a stage disqualification. So we don't want that. So think of sliding in a sort of, again, parallel to the firing line, always keep the muzzle down range. So I've done my 3 shots. I'm gonna slide over, and I'm just walking over with my knees. If I need this stuff, I can grab it. Usually this would be 1 bag, so it'd be more manageable than what I have right here. You can tell how wobbly that is, and you can tell how having this rear support is extremely important. Now, I'm gonna talk to myself during the stage. I'm gonna say middle, and I know that, and start on the middle target, and then far, then near. And the reason that I say holding over for this stage is advantageous and a key to saving time is because we're not doing the same engagements, or we're not repeating targets. Every time we're starting at a new starting target. So it's just dialing would take a lot of time on the clock. You'd have to dial for all 12 targets. So that would be 11 dialing motions during the stage. And it being a 12-round stage, I think you're wasting time on the clock if you're dialing for this stage. Now, parallax, I'd probably set it towards the middle target and then make sure my magnification is backed off to about 12 to 16 power, and everything should be relatively in focus. The lower the magnification, the greater the depth of field. So if you have it set to the middle target and you're on a low enough power, and 15, 16 power, 12 power, you should still be able to see the reticle hash marks for your holdovers. Other than that, 12-round stage, so if you do have 10 rounds, or if you live in a state like California, which is unfortunate, you're gonna have to do a mag change. And now remember, I always advocate doing a mag change before a certain string of fire. And I always advocate doing it towards the end. Work on time management, getting all the points you can. You shouldn't be doing a mag change early in the stage, wasting time if you're someone who frequently times out on stages. So for me, it would be 3 shots, 6 shots, 9 shots. I would then do the mag change before I start my string of 3. And the reason for that is, you have 10-round magazines. So here, your 10th shot, you're already set up, and then changing the magazine breaks that position. So once you're in a position, you want to be able to maintain that cheek weld, that rear support. If you're using it, you want to maintain that. You don't want to worry about changing mags. Now, of course, here I can manipulate the magazine and do all kinds of stuff, but it just breaks the concentration. So I'd recommend the mag change after the 3rd rung and the 9th round if you need to do a mag change. Other than that, pretty straightforward stage, looks pretty fun. It is going to be very, very wobbly on this ladder, so be prepared for that. They do mention in the booklet that you could weigh this down with cinder blocks. I do think that's a good idea, just for safety reasons. So hope you have fun at the match. If you go to the match, let me know how it goes in the comments. Hopefully these tips and tricks helped you. And if they did, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and until I see you next time, as always, score more points.